The Duke spoke 5 words that shattered everything. Sophia Rees stood in her wedding chamber, still wearing the silk nightgown her mother had embroidered with tiny roses along the neckline. The fabric was delicate against her skin. The room smelled of lavender sachets and the beeswax candles burning in silver holders. Everything was beautiful. Everything was perfect. Everything was about to break. Logan Coles, Duke of Ashendon, her husband of exactly 4 hours, stood by the tall window overlooking the gardens. Moonlight carved sharp lines across his shoulders. He had not touched her. He had not smiled. He had barely looked at her since they left the reception. Now he turned, and his grey eyes were as cold as winter stone. "I require an heir, not a wife." The words landed like blows. Sophia felt her breath catch. She kept her hands folded in her lap, fingers pressing together so hard they went white. "Your Grace, let me be clear." Logan's voice was flat, precise, the tone of a man issuing orders to staff. "This marriage serves a purpose. You will provide me with an heir. Once that obligation is fulfilled, you may live as you wish. Quietly, separately. I will ensure you have everything you need. But I expect complete discretion." He paused, his gaze sweeping over her once, clinical, assessing, dismissing. "Do we understand each other?" Sophia's mind raced. She had known this was a political marriage. She had known Logan was distant, reserved, a man shaped by duty rather than warmth. But she had believed, foolishly perhaps, that respect might grow between them. That partnership might blossom into something kinder. She had not expected this, or to be told she was temporary, disposable, a vessel for an heir and nothing more. Her throat burned, but she would not cry. Not here, not now, not in front of him. She lifted her chin. "Perfectly, Your Grace." Something flickered in his eyes. Surprise, maybe, or satisfaction. "Good." He walked toward the door. "Wait," Sophia said quietly. Logan stopped but did not turn. "Will you at least tell me why?" "Why what?" "Why you married me if you find my presence so unbearable." Now he did turn. His expression was unreadable. "I do not find you unbearable, Lady Sophia. I find marriage itself unbearable. You are simply unfortunate enough to be part of the arrangement." Then he left. The door closed with a soft click. Sophia sat alone in the candlelight, her hands still folded, her spine still straight. But inside, something changed. What if Logan wanted her to disappear? She would do the exact opposite. If he thought she would fade into the background of his life, he was about to learn how very wrong a duke could be. Because Sophia Rees was many things, but invisible was not one of them. We love bringing these stories to you, and we also appreciate how much support you have shown. But it is essential that we receive more subscribers, more support through likes, comments and shares in order to continue bringing you powerful stories like this. So smash the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and tell us where in the world you are watching from. Thank you. Let me take you back to the story Sophia woke to sunlight streaming through unfamiliar windows. She was alone. The bed beside her was cold, untouched. Logan had not returned after leaving the night before. Or the pillow on his side was still perfectly smooth, the covers undisturbed. She lay there for a moment, staring at the embroidered canopy above her head, trying to process what her life had become in the span of a single evening. A soft knock at the door. "Come in." A young maid entered, carrying a silver tray. She set it down on the small table near the window without meeting Sophia's eyes. "Good morning, Your Grace. His Grace requests that you join him for breakfast in the morning room at your convenience." The girl curtsied and turned to leave. "Wait," Sophia said. "What is your name?" The maid looked startled. "Victoria, Your Grace." Thank you, Victoria. And please, you may look at me when you speak. I do not bite. A tiny smile flickered across Victoria's face. Yes, Your Grace. After she left, Sophia rose and examined the breakfast tray. Tea, toast, jam, fruit, everything perfectly arranged, everything cold and impersonal. She ate slowly, looking out at the gardens of Ashenden Hall. The estate was enormous, sprawling acres of manicured lawns and ancient trees. In the distance, she could see the edge of a lake, sunlight glinting off the water. Beautiful, isolated, lonely. Sophia dressed with care. She chose a deep emerald gown that fit her curves elegantly, the kind of dress that made a statement without saying a word. Her dark hair was pinned up, revealing the graceful line of her neck. Pearl earrings, a simple gold bracelet. If Logan wanted to dismiss her, she would make sure she was impossible to ignore. She found him in the morning room, reading correspondence at a small table by the window. He glanced up when she entered. "Put good morning." "Good morning, Your Grace." Sophia poured herself tea and sat across from him. The silence stretched between them like an unspoken challenge. Finally, Logan set down his letters. "Lady Henrietta Collins will call on you this afternoon. She is well regarded in society, and will guide you in your obligations as Duchess." "I see. And what are those obligations?" "To represent the Ashenden name with dignity, to attend the appropriate events, to conduct yourself in a manner that reflects well on this family, and avoid scandal, I assume." "That goes without saying." Sophia sipped her tea. "And what of your obligations to me?" Logan's jaw tightened. "I will provide for you, protect you, ensure you have everything you require. Except your presence. Except that, yes." Sophia set down her teacup carefully. "What I agreed to this marriage in good faith, Your Grace. I understood it was strategic. I did not expect love, but I did expect basic courtesy." "You have courtesy?" "No, I have distance. There is a difference." Logan stood abruptly. "I have duties to attend to. Lady Collins will arrive at 2. I suggest you prepare." He left without another word. Sophia remained seated, her tea growing cold in her hands. She was beginning to understand. Logan did not simply want her to disappear. He was terrified of what might happen if she did not. Lady Henrietta Collins swept into the drawing room at precisely 2 o'clock. She was an imposing woman, perhaps 50 years old, with silver hair styled elegantly and eyes that missed nothing. She wore a deep blue gown that spoke of wealth without ostentation, and when she looked at Sophia, her gaze was sharp, assessing, and strangely kind. "Your Grace." She curtsied, but there was something almost ironic about the gesture. "I am honored to make your acquaintance properly." "The honor is mine, Lady Collins. Please, sit." They settled into chairs near the fireplace. Victoria brought tea, then quietly withdrew. Lady Collins studied Sophia for a long moment. "Well," she said finally, "you are exactly as I expected." Sophia raised an eyebrow. "Should I be concerned?" "On the contrary," Lady Collins smiled. "The Duke has chosen well, even if he does not yet realize it." "I am not certain the Duke chose me for any reason beyond political convenience." "Oh, he did not. Your marriage was arranged by your families, but that does not mean it cannot become something more." Sophia felt a flicker of hope, quickly suppressed. "Forgive me, Lady Collins. Well, but I am not here to harbor illusions." "Good. Illusions will not serve you." Lady Collins leaned forward slightly. "Let me be direct, Your Grace. Society will judge you, harshly. You are the new Duchess of Ashenden, and there are many who hoped to claim that position for themselves or their daughters. You are also not what they expected." Sophia kept her voice level. You mean my appearance? I mean your presence. You are a curvy woman in a world that often mistakes thinness for virtue. They will test you. They will wait for you to falter. Some will hope you fail. And what do you suggest I do? Lady Collins set down her teacup. You do not falter. You walk into every room as if you own it. Because, Your Grace, you do. You are the Duchess of Ashenden. They are not. Never forget that. Sophia felt something shift inside her. A door opening, a path forward. I will not. Good. Lady Collins relaxed slightly. Now, let us discuss your first public appearance. The Hartley ball is next week. Lady Emily Hartley is influential, ambitious, and extremely dangerous. She had hoped to become Duchess herself before your marriage was announced. She will try to undermine you. Do not give her the opportunity. How do I prevent that? By being perfect, or appearing to be, which in society amounts to the same thing. They spent the next 2 hours discussing strategy, what to wear, who to speak with, how to handle awkward questions. Lady Collins was ruthless in her preparation, drilling Sophia on names, connections, and social landmines to avoid. As she was leaving, Lady Collins paused at the door. Your Grace, may I offer one more piece of advice? Please. The Duke is not as cold as he pretends to be. He has been hurt. Badly. And he has built walls to protect himself. Those walls can be breached, but not by force. Only by patience. Sophia nodded slowly. I will remember that. After Lady Collins left, Sophia stood alone in the drawing room, her mind racing. She had a plan now. She would become the perfect Duchess, and then she would make Logan regret every word he had said on their wedding night. The week before the Hartley ball passed in a blur of preparation. Sophia met with the household staff, learning the rhythms of Ashenden Hall. She walked the gardens, memorizing paths and flower beds. She read in the library, educating herself on the history of the estate and the Coles family. And she barely saw Logan. He took breakfast early and left before she arrived. He dined out most evenings. When they did cross paths in the corridors, he nodded politely and continued walking. It was as if she were a ghost in his house. But Sophia was not idle. Lady Henrietta Collins called again 3 days before the ball, bringing with her another woman. Your Grace, may I present Lady Hawley? Lady Hawley was younger than Lady Collins, perhaps 40, with warm brown eyes and a kind smile. She curtsied deeply. Your Grace, it is an honor. Please, both of you, sit. Victoria, tea, please. As they settled in, Lady Collins explained. Lady Hawley has been a dear friend for many years. She is also one of the most well-connected women in London. If you have her support, you have the support of half the ton. Lady Hawley laughed softly. Henrietta exaggerates. But I do have friends who matter. And I have been eager to meet you, Your Grace. Your marriage came as quite a shock to certain circles. I imagine Lady Emily Hartley was among the shocked. Oh, Emily was furious. Lady Hawley's eyes sparkled. She had been planning her future as Duchess of Ashenden for 2 years. When the Duke announced his engagement to you, she very nearly threw a vase at Lord Hartley. Sophia could not help but smile. That must have been a sight. Indeed. But be warned, Your Grace. Emily is not simply angry. She is vengeful. She will try to destroy your reputation if given the chance. How? Lady Collins answered. Rumours, gossip. She will twist everything you say and do. She will question your breeding, your education, your worthiness. And because she is charming and influential, people will listen. So how do I defend myself? By being beyond reproach, Lady Hawley said gently. By building alliances. by making friends who will speak well of you when she speaks ill, and by never ever giving her ammunition," Lady Collins added. They spent hours coaching Sophia on how to navigate the ball, where to stand, when to speak, how to deflect insults with grace. As they were leaving, Lady Hawley paused. "Your Grace, if I may say so, you are stronger than you realize. I see it in your eyes. You will not only survive this, you will thrive." After they left, Sophia stood at the window, watching their carriage disappear down the drive. She thought about Lady Hawley's words, stronger than she realized. She hoped it was true, because she was about to walk into a battlefield. The night of the ball, Sophia stood before her mirror, barely recognizing herself. The gown was a masterpiece, wine-red silk that hugged her curves before flowing to the floor. The neckline was modest, but elegant, showing the graceful line of her shoulders. Tiny crystals were sewn into the fabric, catching the light with every movement. Her hair was swept up, revealing pearl earrings that had belonged to her grandmother, a simple gold necklace, gloves that reached her elbows. Victoria stepped back, admiring her work. "You look beautiful, Your Grace." "Thank you, Victoria. The Duke is waiting in the foyer." Sophia took a deep breath. This was it. Her first public appearance as Duchess of Ashendon. She descended the grand staircase slowly, one hand trailing along the banister. Logan stood at the bottom, dressed in formal evening clothes. Black coat, white shirt, but perfectly tailored. His dark hair was brushed back, his expression unreadable. But when he saw her, something changed. He looked up, and for just a moment, his mask slipped. His eyes widened. His lips parted slightly. He stared at her, as if seeing her for the first time. Then the mask returned. But Sophia had seen it. The flicker of surprise, of appreciation, of something that might have been desire. "You look well," Logan said quietly. "Thank you." He offered his arm. Sophia took it, and they walked to the carriage in silence. The ride to the Hartley estate took 30 minutes. Logan sat across from her in the dim interior, his face half in shadow. "There will be questions," he said finally, "about our marriage, about how quickly it happened. I am prepared. Answer simply. We married because it was advantageous to both families. Nothing more. As you wish." Logan studied her for a moment. "You do not have to do this." "Do what?" "Attend tonight. Face society. You could stay here at Ashendon and avoid all of this." Sophia met his gaze steadily. "I am the Duchess of Ashendon. Hiding would only confirm whatever rumors Lady Emily wishes to spread. She will be cruel. I have survived cruelty before." Something flickered in Logan's eyes. Respect, perhaps, or guilt. The carriage stopped, but they had arrived. The Hartley estate was ablaze with light. Music spilled from the open doors. Carriages lined the drive, footmen rushing to assist the arriving guests. Logan descended first, then offered his hand to help Sophia down. She took it, and together they walked toward the entrance. Every eye in the ballroom turned toward them. Sophia felt the weight of those stares, curious, judgmental, hungry for weakness. She lifted her chin and smiled graciously. Lady Emily Hartley glided toward them immediately. She was breathtaking. Blonde hair styled in elaborate curls, a pale blue gown that made her look like a porcelain doll, and a smile that did not reach her cold blue eyes. "Your Grace," she said sweetly to Logan. Then, turning to Sophia, "And the new Duchess. How delightful to finally meet you properly." "The pleasure is mine. Old Lady Hartley, thank you for the invitation. Of course, though I must say, you are quite different from what I imagined." Sophia smiled. I find that imagination often falls short of reality. Lady Emily's smile tightened. Indeed. Well, I do hope you enjoy the evening. There are so many people eager to meet you. As she swept away, Lady Collins appeared at Sophia's side. Well done, Your Grace. First blood to you. That was nothing. She was testing me. And you passed. Now come. There are allies to make and enemies to charm. Sophia glanced back at Logan, but he was already engaged in conversation with a group of men. She was on her own. She took a deep breath and followed Lady Collins into the glittering crowd. The next 3 hours were exhausting. Sophia was introduced to dozens of people, lords and ladies, politicians and socialites, were everyone eager to assess the new Duchess of Ashendon. Most were polite, some were warm, a few were openly skeptical. And through it all, Sophia felt Lady Emily watching her. Finally, late in the evening, Lady Emily made her move. She cornered Sophia near the refreshment table, surrounded by a group of influential women. Your Grace, Lady Emily said loudly, I have been meaning to ask, how long was your courtship with the Duke? It all happened so quickly, and people are so curious. The other women leaned in, eager for gossip. Sophia kept her voice calm. Long enough to know we were well suited. But surely you knew each other before the engagement? Old family friends, perhaps? Our families were acquainted. The Duke and I met shortly before our engagement was announced. One of the other women gasped softly. How romantic, Lady Emily said, her tone dripping with false sweetness. A whirlwind courtship, though some might say it was rather hasty. Sophia smiled. I prefer to call it decisive. When something is right, why wait? Oh, I quite agree. Though, of course, some decisions require more careful consideration than others. Marriage, for instance, is such a permanent arrangement. The implication was clear. Sophia had rushed into marriage. She had not thought it through. She was impulsive, foolish. But Sophia had been trained by Lady Collins. You are absolutely right, Lady Hartley. Marriage is permanent, which is why I am so grateful to have married a man of such unquestionable character and standing. The Duke of Ashendon's reputation speaks for itself. The other women nodded approvingly. Lady Emily's smile became strained. Of course. Well, I do hope you will be very happy together. I have no doubt we will be. Sophia excused herself gracefully and walked away, her heart pounding. She had won that round, but she knew the war had only just begun. The ride home was silent for the first 10 minutes. Sophia stared out the window at the dark countryside rushing past, her mind replaying every conversation, every look, every subtle insult disguised as courtesy. You handled yourself well tonight. She turned. Logan was watching her, his expression softer than usual. Thank you. Lady Emily was vicious. She was testing me. And you passed. Logan paused. I underestimated you. Sophia felt a flicker of satisfaction. Most people do. Why? Because I am not what they expect a duchess to be. You are exactly what a duchess should be. Sophia looked at him in surprise. Now Logan met her gaze steadily. You are intelligent, composed, graceful under pressure. Tonight you faced a room full of people eager to see you fail, and you did not give them the satisfaction. I had good teachers. Lady Collins and Lady Hawley prepared me well. They gave you strategy. You provided the strength. For a moment, something passed between them, an understanding, a recognition. Then Logan looked away. I know I have been distant, unwelcoming. I apologize for that. Sophia's breath caught. May I ask why? Logan was silent for a long moment. I do not trust easily. I have done nothing to lose your trust. I know. But I have been betrayed before. Badly. And I swore I would never allow myself to be vulnerable again. Sophia thought of Georgina Clark, the woman the servants had whispered about. You were in love. Logan's jaw tightened. I was a fool. Love is not foolish. It is when it blinds you to the truth. Sophia reached across the space between them, her hand hovering near his. I am not her, whoever she was. I know. Then why punish me for her sins? Logan finally looked at her, and in his eyes Sophia saw pain, deep, raw, unhealed. Because I do not know how to do this any other way. The carriage stopped. They had reached Ashenden Hall. Logan descended first, then helped Sophia down. As they stood in the torchlight, he spoke quietly. I will try. To be better. I cannot promise to change overnight, but I will try. Sophia nodded. That is all I ask. They walked inside together, and for the first time, Sophia felt the faintest glimmer of hope. Maybe this marriage could become something more than a cold arrangement, and maybe Logan could learn to see her. Maybe, just maybe, they could find their way to each other. The days after the Hartley ball brought subtle changes. Logan began joining Sophia for breakfast again. Not every morning, but more often than before. They did not speak much, but the silence was less hostile, less charged with unspoken resentment. One afternoon, Sophia was in the library, curled up in a chair near the window with a book of poetry, when Logan entered. He stopped when he saw her. I apologize. I did not mean to disturb you. You are not disturbing me. This is your library. It is yours as well. Sophia smiled. Then we may share it. Logan hesitated, then crossed to the bookshelves. He selected a volume and settled into a chair across from her. They read in comfortable silence for an hour. Finally, Logan spoke. So what are you reading? Sophia held up the book. Byron. I did not realize you enjoyed poetry. I find it soothing. Do you read poetry? Occasionally, though I prefer history. History is simply another form of storytelling. Logan smiled slightly. It was the first real smile Sophia had seen from him. I had not thought of it that way. Most people do not. They fell silent again, but it was a warmer silence now. Over the following weeks, they continued to meet in the library. Sometimes they talked, sometimes they simply read together. Sophia learned that Logan was not as cold as he pretended. He was guarded, yes, careful with his words and emotions, but he was also intelligent, thoughtful, and surprisingly kind when he allowed himself to be. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Logan asked quietly, "Why did you agree to marry me?" Sophia set down her book. Because my family needed the alliance, because it was expected, because I had few other options. That is honest. You asked for honesty. Did you hope for more? From this marriage? Sophia considered her answer carefully. I hoped for respect, partnership, perhaps in time, affection. And now? Now I simply hope to survive it with my dignity intact. Logan flinched. I have been cruel to you. Yes, I am sorry. Sophia looked at him, searching his face for sincerity. She found it. Thank you. Logan stood, pacing to the window. I was engaged before, 3 years ago, to a woman named Georgina Clark. Sophia's breath caught, so the rumors were true. What happened? I loved her, completely, foolishly. I believed we would build a life together. He paused, his voice hardening. 2 weeks before our wedding, she ran away with another man. Lord Whitmore, a friend of mine. Logan. She left a letter. Very brief. She said she could not marry me because she did not love me. She had never loved me. She had been using me to make Lord Whitmore jealous, And it had worked. Sophia felt fury rising in her chest. She was cruel. She was honest, brutally so. There is a difference between honesty and cruelty. Logan turned to face her. After that, I swore I would never love anyone again. I would marry for duty, produce an heir, and keep my heart locked away where it could not be destroyed. And so you married me. Yes. Sophia stood, crossing to stand before him. I am not Georgina Clark. I will not betray you. I will not mock your feelings or use you for my own gain. I am here because I made a vow, and I intend to honor it. Logan studied her face. I believe you. Then why do you still hold me at a distance? Because I am afraid. It was the most vulnerable admission Sophia had heard from him. Afraid of what? Of caring, of letting you in, of being hurt again. Sophia reached out slowly, giving him time to pull away. He did not. She placed her hand gently on his arm. You do not have to be afraid of me. Logan looked down at her hand, then up at her face. I want to believe that. Then try. For a long moment, they stood there, the firelight casting shadows across the room. Then Logan stepped back. I should go. Good night, Sophia. It was the first time he had used her given name. Good night, Logan. After he left, Sophia sank back into her chair, her heart racing. Something had shifted between them. She did not know what it meant yet. But she knew it was important. 3 weeks later, the scandal erupted. Sophia was attending a garden party at Lady Victoria's estate when Lady Emily Hartley approached with a group of women. Your Grace, Lady Emily said, her voice carrying across the terrace. There is a rather unfortunate rumor circulating. Sophia set down her teacup, her instincts immediately alert. Is there? About you and Lord Joshua Robson. People are saying they saw you together in the garden at the Blackwood dinner last week, alone for quite some time. The women around them gasped softly. Sophia felt ice flood her veins. She had spoken with Joshua Robson at the Blackwood dinner. He was a family friend, kind and respectful. They had discussed his sister, Lily Holland's upcoming wedding. Nothing more. But the accusation was clever. It did not need to be true. It only needed to be believable. That is false, Sophia said clearly. Lady Emily tilted her head sympathetically. Oh, I am sure there is some misunderstanding. But you know how people talk. Memories can be so unreliable. Mine is not. Perhaps not. But the question is, will the Duke believe you? Sophia stood slowly, drawing herself to her full height. The Duke will believe what any reasonable person would, that you are spreading malicious lies because you are jealous. Lady Emily's face flushed red. How dare you? How dare you? Sophia's voice was steady, but it carried across the terrace. You may have influence, Lady Hartley, but I am the Duchess of Ashenden, and you have just made a very dangerous enemy. She walked away, head high, back straight, but inside she was terrified, because she did not know if Logan would believe her, or if Georgina Clark's ghost would destroy everything. Sophia did not have to wait long for Logan's reaction. He came to her sitting room that evening, his face unreadable. I heard a story today, he said quietly. Sophia set down her embroidery. About Lord Joshua Robson. Yes. It is not true. Logan sat down across from her. Tell me exactly what happened. Sophia told him. Every detail. The conversation, Joshua's sister's wedding, the fact that they had spoken in full view of at least a dozen guests. Logan listened without interrupting. When she finished, he was silent for a long moment. Do you believe me? Sophia asked. Logan looked at her. Really looked at her. Yes. Sophia felt something break open inside her chest. Relief, gratitude, hope. Thank you. I should not need to be thanked for believing my wife. But you do, because trust is not automatic. It is earned. Logan leaned forward, his elbows on his knees. Lady Emily Hartley is trying to destroy you. I know. She will not stop with one rumor. I know that too. Logan's jaw tightened. Then we must stop her first. How? By showing society that we are united, that no gossip can divide us, that anyone who attacks you attacks me as well. Sophia stared at him. You would defend me publicly. I would. Even if it costs you politically? Even then. Sophia felt tears prick her eyes. Why? Logan reached across the space between them and took her hand. Because you are my wife. And because I was wrong about you. About everything. His hand was warm. Strong. His thumb brushed gently across her knuckles. I have watched you these past weeks, Logan continued quietly. You have faced society with grace. You have managed this household flawlessly. You have endured my cruelty and still treated me with kindness. You are extraordinary. Sophia's breath caught. Logan, let me finish. Please. He took a deep breath. I told you I would never love again. I built walls to protect myself. But you have been dismantling those walls brick by brick, simply by being yourself. And I find that I no longer want to keep you at a distance. What are you saying? Logan met her gaze steadily. I am saying that I want this marriage to be real. I want to know you. I want to build a life with you, or if you will have me. Sophia felt tears slip down her cheeks. I will. Logan pulled her into his arms, and for the first time since their wedding night, Sophia felt safe. The Duke of Ravensmere dinner party was 3 days later. Logan and Sophia arrived together, his hand protectively at the small of her back. Lady Emily Hartley was already there, holding court in the drawing room. She smiled when she saw them. Logan walked directly to her. The room fell silent. Lady Hartley, Logan said, his voice cold and clear. I understand you have been spreading stories about my wife. Lady Emily's smile faltered. I merely repeated what I heard, Your Grace. No, you invented a lie to damage her reputation. And in doing so, you have insulted me, my family, and my honor. The color drained from Lady Emily's face. But I assure you, you will issue a public apology, tonight, in front of everyone here, or I will ensure that you are never invited to another respectable event in London. Your husband's business dealings will suffer. Your social standing will be destroyed. Am I clear? Lady Emily looked around desperately. No one came to her aid. Finally, she turned to Sophia. I apologize, Your Grace. I spoke in error. Sophia nodded graciously. Apology accepted. Logan offered Sophia his arm, and they walked away. Behind them, whispers erupted like wildfire. But Sophia did not care, because Logan had chosen her, publicly, irreversibly, and everyone had witnessed it. After that night, everything changed. Logan began courting Sophia properly. He joined her for walks in the garden, pointing out his favorite spots. He read to her in the library in the evenings. He asked about her childhood, her dreams, her fears. They talked for hours about literature and philosophy, about the estate and its management, about their hopes for the future. And slowly, carefully, they began to trust each other. One evening, as they sat in the drawing room after dinner, Logan reached for Sophia's hand. There is something I need to say. What is it? I was wrong. On our wedding night, every word I said to you was cruel and unfair. You deserved better. You have always deserved better. Sophia squeezed his hand. You have apologized already. Not properly. Not the way you deserve. Logan took a deep breath. I told you I required an heir, not a wife. I was wrong. I require you, all of you, your intelligence, your strength, your kindness. I want to build a real marriage with you, Sophia, at a true partnership. Sophia felt tears blur her vision. I want that too. Logan pulled her close, his hand cradling the back of her head. I do not deserve you. Probably not, but you are stuck with me anyway. Logan laughed softly, and the sound filled something hollow inside Sophia's chest. They sat together in the firelight, wrapped in each other's arms, and Sophia thought about how much had changed. She had walked into this marriage as a dismissed bride. She was leaving it as a cherished wife. That night, Logan came to Sophia's chambers, not because duty demanded it, because he wanted to. He knocked softly, and when Sophia opened the door, he stood there in his shirt sleeves, his hair slightly disheveled, his eyes dark with emotion. May I come in? Always. He entered, closing the door gently behind him. As they stood facing each other in the candlelight, the air thick with anticipation. I want to do this right, Logan said quietly. I want you to feel cherished, desired, loved. Sophia reached for him. Then show me. Logan closed the distance between them, his hands gentle as they framed her face. You are beautiful, he whispered. So beautiful. How did I not see it before? You are not looking. I am looking now. He kissed her. Soft at first, tentative, as if afraid she might break. But Sophia was not fragile. She kissed him back with all the hunger she had been suppressing for weeks. All the longing, all the hope. Logan groaned, his arms wrapping around her, pulling her closer. They moved together in the darkness, learning each other slowly. Logan's hands traced the curves of her body with reverence. He whispered her name like a prayer. He took his time, discovering what made her gasp, what made her arch into his touch, and Sophia gave herself to him completely, not out of duty, but out of desire. They moved together, finding a rhythm that was theirs alone. His hands tangled in her hair. Her fingers dug into his shoulders. They breathed each other's names in the darkness. When they finally came together, it was not cold or clinical. It was fire and sweetness and connection. It was everything a wedding night should have been. Afterward, they lay tangled together, breathless and amazed. I was a fool, Logan whispered. Yes, you were. Can you forgive me? Sophia traced her fingers along his jaw. I already have. Logan pulled her closer, his lips brushing her temple. I love you, Sophia. She had waited so long to hear those words. Might I love you too? They fell asleep, wrapped in each other's arms, and for the first time since their wedding, neither of them was alone. In the weeks following their reconciliation, Sophia and Logan discovered each other anew. They began taking morning rides together through the estate. Logan showed her the places he had loved as a child, the old oak tree where he had built a fort, the stream where he had caught his first fish, the meadow where wild flowers bloomed in summer. Sophia shared stories of her own childhood, growing up as the middle daughter in a family that valued beauty above intelligence, learning to navigate a world that judged her harshly for her curves while her thinner sisters were praised. I used to hide in the library, she told him one afternoon as they sat beneath a willow tree by the lake. Books never cared what I looked like. They only cared that I understood them. Logan reached for her hand. Their loss. You are brilliant. Not brilliant enough to avoid a strategic marriage. Perhaps it was strategy that brought us together. But it is not strategy that keeps us together now. Sophia smiled. What keeps us together now? Logan leaned closer, his voice soft. "This." He kissed her gently, and Sophia felt her heart expand. They began hosting small dinner parties at Ashenden Hall. Lady Henrietta Collins and Lady Hawley were frequent guests, along with carefully selected members of society who had shown Sophia kindness. Joshua Robson attended one evening with his sister, Lily Holland, who was now happily married to a man named Harry Peacock. They were warm and gracious, and Sophia felt grateful for their friendship. Even Jude, Logan's cousin, came to visit. He was younger, charming, and clearly delighted by the change in Logan. "I have never seen him like this," Jude told Sophia privately. "Happy, at peace. You have worked a miracle." "I simply refuse to give up. That is the miracle." As autumn turned to winter, Sophia and Logan settled into a rhythm that felt natural, easy, right. They managed the estate together. Logan sought Sophia's opinion on business decisions, and she offered insights that often proved valuable. They attended social events as a united front, and slowly, society began to accept that the Duke and Duchess of Ashenden were a true partnership. Lady Emily Hartley had left London, her reputation damaged beyond repair. Rumour had it she and Lord Hartley had moved to their country estate indefinitely. Sophia felt no satisfaction in her enemy's downfall, only relief that the threat had passed. One snowy evening, as they sat by the fire in the library, Logan set down his book. "I have been thinking." "About what?" "About children." Sophia's breath caught. "Oh?" "I know what I said on our wedding night, that I only wanted an heir. But now I want a family. With you. I want to hear children laughing in these halls. I want to teach them to ride and read and be kind. I want to build a life that is full and warm, and nothing like the cold existence I had planned." Sophia felt tears slip down her cheeks. "I want that too." Logan pulled her into his arms. "Then let us try, not out of obligation, but out of love." "Out of love," Sophia agreed. That night they made love slowly, tenderly, met with the full knowledge that they were trying to create life together, and it felt like the beginning of something beautiful. 2 months later, Sophia missed her monthly courses. She waited another month before telling Logan, wanting to be certain. When she finally told him over breakfast, he stared at her in shock. "You are certain?" "The doctor confirmed it yesterday." Logan stood, walked around the table, and pulled her into his arms. I do not have words." Sophia laughed softly against his chest. "Are you happy?" "I am terrified, and thrilled, and grateful." He pulled back to look at her. "Thank you. For what? For staying, for not giving up on me, for giving me a chance to be better than I was." Sophia cupped his face in her hands. "You are welcome." The pregnancy was not easy. Sophia was sick from the very beginning. The smell of food made her nauseous. She could barely keep down water some days. Logan was beside himself with worry. He brought her tea and toast in the mornings. He sat with her when she was too ill to leave her bed. He held her hair when she was sick, and her hand when she was frightened. "I am sorry," Sophia said one morning, after a particularly bad bout of sickness. "I must be such a burden." "You are not a burden. You are carrying our child. There is nothing more important. But you have duties. The estate, Parliament. I am keeping you from everything." Logan cupped her face gently. "You are not keeping me from anything. You are giving me everything." As the weeks passed, Sophia's sickness began to ease, but her body changed rapidly. Her gowns had to be altered, then altered again. Her curves, already generous, became more pronounced. She felt enormous, ungainly, uncomfortable. One afternoon, she stood before her mirror, staring at her reflection with dismay. Logan entered and saw her face. "What is wrong? Look at me. I am huge." Logan came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her swollen belly. "You are beautiful." "I am fat." "You are pregnant. There is a difference." "I look like a whale." Logan turned her gently to face him. "You look like a woman carrying my children, and there is nothing more beautiful in this world." Sophia felt tears spill over. "I am being foolish." "You are being scared. That is not foolish. It is human." He kissed her forehead, then her cheeks, then her lips. "I love you, Sophia. Every part of you. And I am in awe of what your body is doing right now. Creating life. That is miraculous." Sophia leaned against him, to letting his words soak into her heart. Lady Henrietta Collins visited often during those months, bringing gifts and gossip and laughter. "You are glowing," she told Sophia one afternoon. "I am sweating. It is winter, and I am still overheated." Lady Collins laughed. "That is the pregnancy. It will pass." "Will I ever feel normal again?" "Define normal. You are about to become a mother. Normal is behind you. Adventure lies ahead." Lady Hawley sent baskets filled with remedies for nausea, aches, and sleeplessness. Each one came with a kind note. Joshua Robson sent flowers regularly, always with cheerful messages that made Sophia smile. Even Jude visited, bringing books and entertaining stories to distract her from discomfort. As winter turned to spring, Sophia's belly grew larger. She could feel the baby moving inside her, with strong kicks that sometimes made her gasp. Logan loved placing his hand on her belly, waiting to feel their child respond to his touch. "Do you think it is a boy or a girl?" Logan asked one evening. "I do not know. Do you have a preference?" "None. As long as the baby is healthy, and you are safe." Sophia squeezed his hand. "I will be fine. Promise me." "I promise." But as her due date approached, Sophia grew more anxious. Childbirth was dangerous. Women died bringing children into the world. She had lost friends to it. Logan sensed her fear. "I will be with you," he said firmly. "Every moment. I will not leave you. They will not allow you in the birthing room. Then I will wait outside the door, and I will break it down if necessary." Sophia laughed despite her fear. "You would cause a scandal. I would cause a revolution if it meant keeping you safe." When Sophia's time came, it was the middle of a spring night. She woke to sharp, rhythmic pains in her belly, her nightgown damp with sweat. Logan. He was awake immediately, sitting up and lighting the lamp beside the bed. "What is it? Is it time?" "I think so. What, the pains are coming regularly." Logan leapt out of bed, his hands shaking as he pulled on his robe. "I will get the midwife and the doctor. Do not move." "Logan, I cannot exactly go anywhere." He paused at the door, looking back at her with such fear and love in his eyes that Sophia felt her own fear ease slightly. "I love you," he said. "I love you too. Now go." Within minutes, the house was awake. Servants rushed to prepare the birthing room. The midwife arrived, a capable woman named Mrs. Lucas, who had delivered dozens of babies. The doctor came shortly after, carrying his medical bag. They examined Sophia and confirmed what she already knew. "The baby is coming, Your Grace. It will be hours yet, but everything is progressing normally." Logan was banished to the hallway while they got Sophia settled. The labor was long and brutal. Hours stretched into more hours. The pains came in waves, each one stronger than the last. Sophia gripped the sheets, her body arching with each contraction. She screamed, she cried, she begged for it to be over. Mrs. Lucas stayed calm, guiding her through each wave. "Breathe, Your Grace. That is it. You are doing beautifully. It hurts. I know, but you are strong, and soon you will hold your baby." Outside, Logan paced the hallway like a caged beast. Lady Henrietta Collins had arrived, along with Lady Hawley. They sat on chairs someone had brought, trying to offer reassurance. "She is strong," Lady Collins said for the 10th time. "She will be fine." But Logan could not stop the terror clawing at his insides. What if something went wrong? What if he lost her? He could not bear it. He had spent so long pushing her away, and wasting precious time they could have spent loving each other. If he lost her now... "Logan," Lady Hawley's voice was firm. "Sophia needs you to be strong. She needs to know you are here, waiting for her." Logan nodded, though his hands were shaking. Inside the birthing room, Sophia was reaching her limit. "I cannot do this anymore." "Yes, you can," Mrs. Lucas said firmly. "You are almost there. The baby is crowning. I am too tired. One more push, Your Grace. That is all. Just one more." Sophia gathered every ounce of strength she had left. She pushed, and finally, a baby's cry pierced the air. Sophia collapsed back against the pillows, tears streaming down her face. "You did it," Mrs. Lucas said, smiling broadly. "You have a son, Your Grace." The door burst open, and Logan rushed in, ignoring protocol entirely. He fell to his knees beside the bed, staring at Sophia with wild eyes. "Are you all right? Are you hurt?" "I am fine. We are fine." Mrs. Lucas placed the baby in Sophia's arms. He was tiny, perfect. His little face was scrunched up, and he was wailing at the top of his lungs. Logan stared at his son in wonder. "A boy," he whispered. Sophia smiled through her tears. "His name is Callum." "Callum," Logan repeated reverently. He reached out with one finger, and Callum's tiny hand wrapped around it. "Hello, Callum. I am your father." His voice broke. "And I promise you, I will be the best father I know how to be." Sophia reached for his hand, squeezing it tightly. "You will be wonderful." Logan looked at her, and she saw tears streaming down his face. "Thank you. For everything. For not giving up on me. For loving me when I did not deserve it. Or for giving me this gift. You are welcome." Then Mrs. Lucas spoke again, her voice suddenly urgent. "Wait. Your Grace, wait. There is something... another baby." Sophia's eyes flew open. "What?" "There are 2. Twins." The room erupted into controlled chaos again. Sophia barely had time to process before another wave of contractions hit. She pushed again, exhausted beyond measure, but driven by the knowledge that another child was coming. Minutes later, a second baby was born. "A girl," Mrs. Lucas announced, her voice filled with joy. Logan stared in shock as his daughter was placed in his arms. She was smaller than Callum, quieter. Her eyes were already open, dark and curious, staring up at him. "Zara," Sophia whispered. "Her name is Zara." Logan sat on the edge of the bed, holding both babies carefully, his face wet with tears. 2. We have 2 children. Sophia smiled, exhausted but radiant. "You wanted an heir. I gave you 2. An heir and a daughter." Logan laughed through his tears. "You gave me everything I never knew I needed." He leaned down carefully, kissing Sophia's forehead. "I love you. So much. I do not have words for how much. Show me instead. Every day. For the rest of our lives." The first weeks after the twins' birth were chaos. Sophia had delivered 2 healthy babies, but her body was exhausted. She ached everywhere. She could barely walk without help, but she refused to stay in bed. "I need to be with them," she insisted when Logan tried to make her rest. "You need to heal." "I am healing, while holding my children." Logan could not argue with that logic. They hired a wet nurse to help. But Sophia insisted on feeding the twins herself as much as possible. It was exhausting, but it was also beautiful. Callum was loud and demanding, crying whenever he was hungry or uncomfortable. Zara was quieter, more observant. She would lie in her cradle, staring at the world with dark, curious eyes. Logan was besotted with both of them. He spent hours simply watching them sleep. He held them constantly, marveling at their tiny fingers and perfect faces. One night, Sophia woke to find Logan missing from their bed. She found him in the nursery, standing between the two cradles, one hand resting gently on each baby. "Logan." He turned, and in the candlelight, she saw tears on his face. "I almost lost this, all of this, because I was too afraid and too proud to let you in." Sophia crossed to him, wrapping her arms around him from behind. "But you did not lose it. We are here, together. I do not deserve you. Probably not. But you are stuck with us anyway." Logan turned in her arms, pulling her close. "I love you, Sophia. More than I thought possible. I love you too." They stood together in the quiet nursery, their children sleeping peacefully nearby, and Sophia felt a completeness she had never known before. Lady Henrietta Collins visited frequently, bringing gifts and advice. "You are doing beautifully, Your Grace. I am exhausted. All new mothers are. But look at them. They are thriving." Lady Hawley sent notes and small tokens. Joshua Robson sent flowers. Even Jude visited, bringing gifts for his new cousins. And slowly, word spread through society. The Duke and Duchess of Ashenden had not one heir, but 2 children, a son and a daughter, born of a marriage that had started cold and distant, but had become one of the strongest partnerships anyone had seen. Lady Emily Hartley heard the news in her exile in the country. She threw the letter into the fire and did not speak for days. But Sophia did not think of Lady Emily anymore. She had won not by destroying her enemy, but by building something better, a family, a life, a love that could not be shaken. 3 years later, Sophia stood in the garden at Ashenden Hall, watching Callum and Zara chase each other through the flower beds. They were wild and joyful, their laughter filling the air. Logan appeared beside her, wrapping his arms around her waist from behind. "Happy?" Sophia leaned back against him. "Impossibly so. I never thanked you properly. For what? For refusing to disappear." Sophia turned in his arms, smiling. "As you told me to, on our wedding night. You said, 'Give me an heir and disappear.'" Logan winced. "I was an idiot." "Yes, you were." "I am sorry. I know. You have apologized 1,000 times. And I will apologize 1,000 more if necessary." Sophia reached up and kissed him softly. "You do not need to. You have shown me every day since that you love me, that you choose me, that I matter." Logan rested his forehead against hers. "You matter more than anything." Callum ran over, tugging on Sophia's skirts. "Mama, look, I found a butterfly." Sophia looked down at her son, her heart full. "That is beautiful, darling." Zara appeared, demanding equal attention. "Papa, carry me." Logan scooped her up, spinning her until she shrieked with laughter. Sophia watched them, her family, her life, and thought about how far they had come. She had walked into Ashenden Hall as a bride, dismissed before the wedding night was over. She had been told she was temporary, disposable, a vessel for an heir and nothing more. But she had refused to accept that. She had built influence. She had won allies. She had faced enemies and stood her ground. She had made Logan see her, not as an obligation, but as a partner, a wife, a woman worth loving. And in the end, she had given him the heir he demanded. But she never disappeared. She never would. We have come to the end of the story. If this story moved you, if you believe love should be earned and respect demanded, then support us by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Your engagement helps us continue telling stories that matter. Thank you for watching, thank you for supporting us, and we will see you in the next story. Bye.